Hello, 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 world, hello, everybody. This is Louise Hicks, your host of Aim to Purpose Spiritual Empowerment Hour. And we are going to talk about Magic Johnson telling our sons to vote for Kamala Harris. I have two Black sons, and I'm asking the question of you, Magic Johnson. Who are you to tell our sons who to vote for? And I'm going to play this video and I'm going to give my perspective on how, from my perspective, you are out here pandering and insulting our Black men, telling them to vote for Kamala Harris. But what are they voting for? That's the question I'd like to ask you. Therefore, let's watch the video. And it's not very long, it's about 7 minutes, and I'm going to elaborate on this video periodically. And again, I'm Louise Hicks, your host of Aim to Purpose Spiritual Empowerment Hour. Thank you for all of my supporters who come in and share the video. Please share, share, share. Please leave your comments. I'd like to hear your thoughts on this. Please give it a thumbs up and please like the video. Subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. And now let's watch what Magic Johnson, the infamous basketball star, has to say about Black men and lecturing Black men on voting for Kamala Harris. Here we go. We're going to listen to you, Magic, and I'm going to give my perspective on what you have to say. Okay, here we go.
Years for Fisher Body. When I turned pro, I thought that was going to be the greatest moment in my father's life, but it wasn't. The greatest moment in his life came when he finally owned his own home. What does Kamala Harris wants to do as president? Put millions of Americans in their own home, give them $25,000 to start them off to be homeowners.
Okay,
That's
let's
very
stop.
important.
Let's stop right here because I want to discuss something about home ownership, particularly since you're talking, Magic, about Black men and telling them to vote for Kamala Harris. Now, I sold real estate for multiple years while working two jobs, sometimes three jobs as a single parent to make sure that my sons and my daughter had a decent home to live in. And I did buy a home for my children. However, it was not easy. And from what you're saying, you're making it sound like Kamala Harris is going to work miracles with $25,000. And I know what it's like to live in California. And it's difficult, very difficult for Black men to even get a decent job, let alone buy a home and pay a mortgage with interest rates have when interest rates have gone up. They haven't come down. They were down, but they're up now and they're going up. So how are they going to buy a home when Black men are having a difficult time finding a job? And if you didn't say anything about specifically what Black men are going to get in terms of a policy for Black people, period, collectively. In fact, Kamala Harris made the statement when she was running for president. Well, here's what she said now, and I'm kind of paraphrasing. Well, let's be clear. I'm not going to do anything specifically for Black people. Now, what does that tell you? If she had that philosophy then, it didn't change, apparently, because the Biden administration is all about giving money to illegal immigrants. And I know in California, they were going to give the Democrats, that is, under Governor Newsom. And I've lived in California over 50 years, practically all of my life. Kamala Harris is a Democrat. President Biden, both Democrats. Gavin Newsom is a Democrat. In California, they were going to give $150,000 to illegals to buy a home. Of course, I did a podcast on this now. Of course, Newsom vetoed it, but it went up for him to review and put his eyes on it and see. And his excuse was it's out of money. If it had money for this program, it appears from what he stated that he would have voted. I mean, he would have signed the bill in order to give illegals $150,000, and some of them had already gotten money. So why are you telling these people to vote Democrat when out of the last 16 years, Democrats were in office 12 of those years? And collectively, what did they do for Black people? Nothing specifically, but they did for other ethnic groups. So you're standing there telling Black men to vote for Kamala Harris when many Black men can barely put food on their table for their children. They have to have help from some of their baby boomer parents who did well for themselves, didn't get caught up in the drug scene that was allegedly put in the Black community right there in California by the government, the CIA, FBI, and a lot of Black people fell for it. So how dare you to stand there and say what you have to say? And I've listened to the entire video, but I'm going to give it to my listeners and others who this will be shared with. And please share, share, share. Because I'm sick and tired of these Black celebrities out here telling us to vote D.L. Hughley for Kamala Harris, Ricky Smiley for Kamala Harris, Steve Harvey out here, and all the other Black celebrities. Steve Harvey telling you some jokes, I guess, when he said, oh, well, you got to know how to play the game. Wait until they get in office. How long are we going to wait? Black people have been voting for Democrats for decades. But for what? So for you to stand there and tell Black men to vote when they can barely get jobs, and I know I have two Black sons and can barely put food on the table for their children under this administration, and you're telling them to go and vote for the same thing? That's insanity. So let me go ahead and finish sharing what else you have to say, and I'm going to give my perspective on it as well. So let's continue and carry on here, because this is pretty disturbing.
Then she wants to also have more small business owners. And she's going to help them out by giving them $50,000 for startup new small business owners, tax deduction. She's smart. She's strong. She's passionate. Nobody's going to outwork her. She's committed to you as the people of the United States, the people of Michigan. She's committed to you.
Let's stop the video again and let me give my perspective on this one here. Okay, she's going to give $50,000 to small business. Again, why are you telling Black men to vote for her? You didn't say anything about her giving $50,000 to Black men to specifically empower Black men to achieve and support their families economically. Something specific, when she already stated she's not going to do anything specific for Black men, but you're specifically out here advocating and telling Black men to vote for Kamala Harris. And believe me, I'm not jumping on the Republican bandwagon either, because I see them all as one snake with two heads, Democrats and Republicans. However, the Republicans have not been getting the majority of Black votes over these decades. It has been the Democrats. They go into the Black church every 4 years, give that spin of what they're going to do, blah, 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 blah. And once they get in office, it's the same old story over and over and over. And that includes your so-called Black President Obama as well. And that's what Black people have gotten. Nothing. So what are we voting for? You tell me that. So let's carry on. And you're talking about $50,000 to start a business, and it's very difficult for Black people to get a SBA loan. I know for a fact because I attempted to get one to start a business. And Black people are just scrutinized from, it's like going from ocean to ocean, from the East Coast to the West Coast, that wide for Black people to get a loan, SBA. And to buy a house, and you talked about housing, all the discrimination in housing. I know that too. I was discriminated in housing. They had to change the deed restrictions for me to buy a house back in 1999 because I was the first Black person to buy in this community in Downey, California. So don't tell me anything. I've been in California probably longer than you have, Magic Johnson. I'm 73 years of age. And I know what California is like. I know what Kamala Harris did. She was locking up truancy parents. And many of those, maybe most of those parents were Black single mothers who were struggling, some homeless. One particular, Sheree Peoples, look her up, who lived in Southern California when Kamala Harris was Attorney General, and a gentleman who lived in Northern California. I think she might have been not the, well, I think she was the Attorney General at that time too. Look him up. I did a podcast on him and Sheree Peoples. Jamal Truelove. That's his name, Jamal Truelove. He tells his story. So you can get up here and front for Kamala Harris all you want to. However, Black people have awakened to what these Democrats have done over the years. They have lied over and over and over to Black people by coming into their churches and nothing but lies. And there's so much corruption in politicians. So Black people are not buying into that anymore. I don't care what any of you celebrities say. My sons know better. And they are Black. They're my Black sons. And how dare you to come in here and where you are in Michigan and pander for Kamala Harris. Like Black people don't have the common sense to see what's going on now. Biden administration is supporting immigrants, illegals at that, giving them all kinds of freebies. But you're not going to talk about that, I'm sure. So let me stop and go back to the video, share it again, and listen at some more of your pandering. Here we go.
She's going to be a president for everybody. And One thing she's going to do is finally unite us, bring us together.
Okay, I have to stop on
That
this
other
one too.
party is trying to tear us
I
down.
have to stop. I have to stop on this one and give my perspective, because this is so insulting to not only men, it's insulting to Black people in general, what you are up here saying. As a 73 years of age Black woman, I've seen a lot, I've been through a lot. And when I see these celebrities and I hear them up here pandering, most of them for the Democrats, there's some pandering for the Republicans too. However, we have not been voting Republican as Black people collectively. So you're saying she's going to be the president for everybody, but yet you're not telling everybody. You're not saying, well, white people, I want to talk to you, white people. I want you to vote for Kamala Harris. I'm going to talk to you, Asian people. I want you to vote for Kamala Harris. I'm going to talk to you, Hispanic people, because I want you to vote for Kamala Harris. So why do you feel it's a priority for you to get up here and insult my Black son and other Black women sons and telling them who to vote for? Who are you to do that? You celebrities have not missed a meal, most of you, because you sit on your high horse in your mansions, your multiple cars, multiple mansions. And you're going to tell Black men who are out here struggling just to make ends meet to go and meet somebody that has had almost 4 years to do something for Black men, to take care of their families, and they haven't done anything to empower or enhance Black lives? So come off of it. This is ridiculous. And what she's going to do, but what are they doing now? Other than supporting immigrants, giving them all kinds of perks, illegals. So this is so utterly insulting, just utterly insulting. Who are you to tell our Black sons who to vote for? And I haven't heard you say anything right yet about policies to empower Black people. I haven't heard it. I'm waiting for it. But I won't hold my breath, because you're not going to do that. So I will not hold my breath, Magic Johnson. Here we go. Let's hear some more.
And I got to say this because I'm back home. First of all, let me congratulate your Tigers. I grew up a Tiger fan. So I'm hoping that your Tigers meet my Dodgers for the World Series, okay? But we have 32 days. That sound familiar? Somebody wore number 32. You know who that is, right? Until November 5th. Now, we can't take anything for granted. You've been working hard, but we need to work harder. We got to call people. We got to knock on doors after and before church. Not during church, but after and before church. We got to rally people, talk to them. Now, there's a lot of Black men in here, and I don't mean to, not talk to other people, but this is important. Our Black men, we got to get them out to vote. That's number one. Kamala's opponent promised a lot of things last time to the Black community that he did not deliver on. And we got to make sure we help Black men understand that. So that's why I'm here, to make sure I understand. help black men understand. First, get out and vote, and then vote for the next president of the United States, Kamala Harris. She's for women's rights to make their own decision with their body. We gotta clap for that. Now, I'm about to bring her out because you came to hear her. You had some great speakers here. I see the UAW president. I was really blown away because not only did my father work there, my brother Larry, my brother Michael, his wife Ronnie. I got now nieces and nephews who belong to the union, so thank you for what you're doing. She's always been for labor and union. Kamala Harris has always been for labor and union. And that's never going to change. Now, this is the year for women. Hold on. We just saw what Mexico did. Elected its first woman president ever. So you know where I'm going with this. Let's make sure we, here in the United States, elect our first woman president in Kamala Harris. Thank you, Michigan, for allowing me to come home. I always love coming home. But the main thing here is we gotta do a lot of work before November the 5th to elect Kamala Harris as our next president of the United States. So please, we're gonna be motivated when you leave here, but let's go to work. When we fight, when we vote, God bless you. Thank you.
Okay, let's stop Magic Johnson. And again, I am Louise Hicks, your host of this podcast, Aim to Purpose Spiritual Empowerment Hour. And this was an insulting speech that he gave to Black men. And I am appalled to hear him get up there and say what Trump promised. But he never said what he promised Black people and didn't deliver. Democrats have been promising Black people forever and ever and ever and ever, ever. And guess what? Black people are still economically struggling. Why do you think Black people are still out here? The grassroots has started their own news media because we know that, as former President Donald Trump says, fake news, mass media is not going to tell the story the way it should be told. So you talked about women's rights. How is that going to empower a man, a Black man, when he can't put food on his table for the children and his wife or partner? But you're sitting up here standing there telling Black men to vote for Kamala Harris. And I know why you're doing it, because so many black men now are out here saying they're going to vote for Donald Trump, or they're not going to vote at all for anybody unless we have a policy put forth with an agenda for Black America, because we are last economically. And we do have to hold ourselves accountable for how we spend our money so that we can unify and work together. Like Dr. Claude Anderson said, form our own political party. We need to do that. Definitely, we need to do that. And I mean, what are you talking about, Magic? You're out here telling people to vote, but what are they voting for from the Biden administration? We've already seen what they've done. They've had just about 4 years, and what have they done for Black people? They're giving everything to the illegals. They're not concerned about Black people, so would that be a change? No, it's not going to be. The reason is Black people have been voting Democratic for decades. And then I heard people shouting in the background when you were talking about women's rights and own their bodies and so forth. Freedom. Well, Black people want freedom economically. We already own our bodies. We want freedom economically to be empowered. And that's not happening with the Democratic Party. And my Black sons, they know what time it is because I raised them to know their history. And have you heard of Dr. Claude Anderson, Powernomics, Black labor, white wealth? That's what Black people are looking for, economic empowerment. So, Magic Johnson, you need to go and educate yourself. I mean, you were good on the basketball court, but you're not good in this area here because you haven't said anything that will empower Black men to vote for Kamala Harris. Nothing I've heard you say in this 7-minute speech that you gave. And as a 73 years of age mother of 2 Black men, it's no way I would encourage my sons to vote for Kamala Harris. No way. And listening to you is more of a deterrent to vote for Kamala Harris. And in terms of jobs, Black men are struggling, always have for jobs. And many of them are in prison. They got a prison job, working, making billions of dollars for this country, getting paid nothing. And some of them don't even deserve to be in prison. So what are you talking about? And then you go to talking about Mexico. We're not in Mexico. We're in America. Just because they got a woman president, that doesn't mean that we should have a woman president if she's not going to have a Black agenda. Why would Black men go out and vote for somebody that has no Black agenda, nothing to empower economically, when this country owes a debt to Black people in the form of reparations for free labor? Free labor. And have you ever read the book by Dr. Claude Anderson, Black Labor, White Wealth? Have you ever read the book Powernomics by Dr. Claude Anderson? If you haven't, Magic Johnson, go read. Have you ever read the book, other books by Dr. Claude Anderson? The Black History Reader, Dirty Little Secrets. I have all of his books. And people like Fannie Lou Hamer, who fought for our party. So you need to go and educate yourself, or either you just out here trying to help her win when she's behind, according to some of the polls, and you want Black men to vote for what? What are they voting for? And then you have the audacity to bring in what Mexico just did. As if, like some people, Black folks I've heard say, well, I'm just going to vote for her because she's a woman, or I'm just going to vote for her because she's Black. Well, no, I'm not going to vote for her because she's a woman. I'm not going to vote for her because she's Black. Well, allegedly, according to her, all of a sudden, I hadn't heard her speak about being Black in the past when I've listened to her. So you celebrities need to come together collectively yourselves. And you're talking about her, she's going to bring the country together. How is she going to bring the country together when this country was divided from its inception of chattel slavery, all the atrocities that have gone on with the Black people? And you're saying she's going to, oh, she's going to be Superwoman all of a sudden, I guess, with some type of uh where was that whatever Superman had, she's going to have some of that kind of power. Kryptonite, I think that's what they called it. Because how is this woman going to bring the country together and stop the divide when it happened 500 years ago, that divide, and that divide has continued since then? She's not going to bring this country together unless Black people are empowered economically. This country will never come together. Collectively, Black people. And don't tell me nothing about the few that have become billionaires, all you wealthy people. You can't even come together and bring yourselves together to build Magic Johnson. You and all of the other Black celebrities, Oprah, that's out here pandering for Kamala Harris. You can't even come together with all of your millions and billions to build anything that will collectively empower Black people. Financial institutions, medical institutions, educational institutions, so that we can be educated with our true history, not what's being taught in these schools. Because these schools in America, it's a sad situation with the educational institution here. We're behind other industrialized countries in education. Our educational system is antiquated. And if you're not teaching your children at home your Black history, having them to read and understand, know about their college graduates coming out of school, they've never heard of Fannie Lou Hamer. All they've heard of, some of them, is, of course, Dr. Martin Luther King, who understood toward the end of his life the problem is economics, not integration. Economics. That's the priority of Black people. As 2 Timothy 1:7 says, God has not given us the spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. And that's what we collectively as Black people now need to recognize and realize. That's what's important to us. And you getting up here talking about Mexico voted for a woman. What made them vote for a woman? Because I'm looking to hear something from Kamala Harris and Donald Trump that specifically will economically empower Black people. And you were talking about what Donald Trump said, but what he said he was going to do and didn't do. But what were those things you're talking about? You're just getting up there, just talking, and that's it. And we don't need to hear food talk, as my grandmother would call it. Nothing but food talk. No agenda, no policy. You talked about women's rights. We already have, we have a brain, and Black women have their brain to utilize, and they're coming to a realization, just like the Black men, that if we don't get an agenda, we're not voting for you. I don't care what you celebrities say, because you have your money, your fancy cars, and all of that. Collectively, Black people are suffering. And I know the discrimination, the systemic racism, and it's mostly under the Democrats. When you're voted in every 4 years, you go to these Black churches and speak it. So why didn't you talk about that? Magic, how you are magic on the court, but you sure weren't magic in that 7 minutes. And I am Louise Hicks, your host of Aim to Purpose Spiritual Empowerment Hour. Please subscribe, leave your comments, and by all means, thumbs up, like, and I thank you all for your support and your continued support. And I'll be coming back with more empowering videos because I do have something to say and I do believe in speaking up and speaking out. So again, subscribe, 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 share, 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 because Black people need to hear what you had to say, Magic, which was a bunch of food talk and nothing. And how dare you to tell our sons, and I have two Black sons, because they're not listening to anything you have to say. I can assure you of that. And a lot of Black men are not listening to anything you have to say about Kamala Harris. All the stuff she did when she was Attorney General, locking up Black mothers who've already taken care of business with the school and everything, and you're out here pandering for her, that truancy law, and she was laughing about it, thought it was funny. This poor woman's daughter had sickle cell anemia. She was taken to jail, and Kamala lied and said nobody was locked up. And this gentleman, Jamal True Love, I hope I'm saying his name correctly, who was sent to, he was going to be convicted. And I think he did spend about 6 years in prison. I did a podcast about him and Sheree Peoples. So you have to tell the truth out here. These politicians are corrupt, and these celebrities get out here and lie for them. And I'm sick of it. And I'm not listening to any of you. You celebrities need to go somewhere and mind your own business and stop trying to tell people who to vote for, how to vote, when to vote. Because it's my business who I vote for. And you cannot tell me who to vote for. So with that said, thank you all again, my subscribers. Please leave your comments, listen to what he had to say, because he wasn't talking about anything empowering to Black people specifically and Black men specifically. So with that said, always remember your power lies within you. Let it loose, and your destiny is your command. Again, Louise Hicks, thank you all for supporting me, and I will be back with another empowering video. Have a great, great rest of your day, evening, and much love. Until next time.